Sorry, I'm just repositioning this. I knocked my phone sideways just a bit ago. So I have some earrings that I've been trying to put together for some coworker gifts for Valentine's Day, or as I just learned a new term like 5 minutes ago on a Hallmark or FTD commercial or something, Galentine's Day. I never heard that before. So, hi y'all. So I am just going to be putting these earrings together. I know some of you guys may have seen some of it. I actually found some black hardware today. I'm really excited about it. There you are. Some of these are going to look so much better with black hardware instead of the bronze or the brass that I have, or the gunmetal. I have that too. These I'm going to use for another time. I've got some epoxy molds that I can make some studs later. And then I bought these earring cards today because I thought that would be kind of cute way to gift them. But I figured I didn't really feel like doing it myself. Just has a little cutout for you to poke the thing in. And if they're dimensional, it kind of pops out a little bit. I'm sure you've seen them pretty much anything you've ever bought before. So since I already have a couple made up, excuse the ink on my finger, sorry. Since I already have a couple made up, I'm just going to throw them on here. And I bought these little earring backs too, to be able to make sure they stay on. And I'm kind of notorious for wearing earring backs on all of my earrings anyways, just because I get so mad when I lose one. So I'm going to dump some of these in this little cup right here, just so that I have easy access. Let's move that away. So if you decide to do some earrings, just kind of pop that out like that. Throw a little back on it. It'll keep it from sliding off the card. Just like that. You don't have to throw it all the way up, but just up. Kind of like that. Okay, I got a new tripod, and it's shorter than what I'm used to. I'm so sorry about that. It's going to take me a little getting used to that. So then we're just going to pop this one in. It's so pretty. Nice way to gift it. I'm not going to get all fancy and make them a little card or anything, but I just wanted to show y'all an easy gift. You can get all kinds of molds. You can get them from AliExpress. You can get them off of Amazon. The molds of what I'm using, I bought from Let's Resin. And I like them a lot. I was successful on this style the other day. I almost had to wire wrap that. Not a huge fan, but it turned out better than I expected. There's actually one girl at work that can pull off big earrings, so she gets these. Bad thing about these cards is it doesn't fit, so maybe I'll do this pair a little bit different. So anyone that hasn't assembled earrings before with jump rings or eye wire hooks or anything like that, this is for you, because I really don't like their packaging. Ugh. It's glued and stapled. That is so dumb. Good gravy. Like half the battle is getting into this thing. Okay, just to keep myself slightly organized, I'm going to throw those there. You can go over there. I'm not looking forward to this. It's going to be a big old mess for the other ones too. When I'm done with these, I like to throw them back into a Ziploc bag. Good gravy. This is my fancy tool. You've probably seen it in some of the other videos. Kind of cheesy, but that's okay. All right. So for your pliers, you want to do something that doesn't really have a lot of texture, because the more texture there is, the more likely you're going to leave marks on your jewelry, on your metal. So like these guys right here, those little teeth right there, those leave marks more frequently than the others do. So you want to grab a jump ring, hold it on one end by the opening. I like to hold it kind of flat like that. Take your other pliers and just bend it open, just like that. Get focused. There we go. So just kind of open like that. And then you want to figure out which way is the back, which side is the back. And on this, it's this one. You can kind of see some of the chunks of glitter have floated to the top. You're just going to put it in there like that. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to rotate this. Okay, pause. I'm sorry. So the way these holes are and the way you do the jump rings, it ends up doing that, like that. So we need to rotate this. So this is not what I'm used to. But nice and slow. Every single time I've gotten in a hurry, I've broken it. So I didn't quite rotate that enough. So I'm going to do a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now you figure out which way is your front. And then kind of pretend that your hook... I don't like this setup. I'm so sorry. And I'm not left-handed, so this is not going to be very good. So you just kind of do this like you're hanging it, but you're going to let it fall. And then you take your other pliers and you close it back up. Any space here, because the eye wire could slip right through it, because that's so skinny right there. So that's it. That's all it takes for that. I actually kind of want to see what it looks like with the smaller jump rings. I feel like that's just a little big. My husband rolls his eyes every time I buy something new, because he knows that I probably have 90% of what's in front of me already in a box somewhere. I don't, but he thinks I do. Okay, so we've got a hold of it. We're going to twist it. And I just want to see if this smaller one will fit some of these. I have a feeling it might not. No, by the time I get the hook on there, it's not going to be right. That came out of there. Yeah, so we'll just grab another one. Just like that. You can probably open it up with your fingers if you felt like it. These are not super strong. This is not what you want to use for keychains. It's not strong enough to take any pressure. So once again, I'm going to rotate these. Rotate this, not these, it's just one. I'm just rotating it 90 degrees. It broke. I went too fast. So I'm going to put the little ball and the spring back in the cup, because sometimes I need an extra one of those if they get kind of messed up. So really slow. Another way to remedy this, if the design allows it, is you can do a jump ring go in this direction and then another jump ring go in the other direction, and then it'll connect properly, but not this style. These are supposed to be just really simple, plain Valentine's-y earrings, or galantines, like I said. I just heard that term for the first time ever. That's just nice and closed right there. I've never heard the word galantine. That is the weirdest thing to me, but I get it. We typically love our girlfriends. They're like family. There we go. Ah, flip that around. So that's what it's going to look like presentation-wise. I know my coworkers or the people, anybody I gift these to isn't really going to care what it looks like presentation-wise, but I'm somewhat considering adding these to my space at a vendor mall that I have right now. Be a good few bucks. Could probably get a couple bucks out of those, just depending on your market and all of that. So I'm just going to continue to do this. I have one extra of this and one extra of this. I have no idea why. Probably because, oh, I am so smart. It's right there. I'm so smart. Oh my gosh. I swear my channel feels like a blooper reel sometimes. So before I forget, I'm doing this again. Rotate it nice and slow. Again, I apologize for the ink on my fingers. Tried to get it off, but it was just being too stubborn. One more time. And even, I feel like sometimes even when I go slow, it still breaks. Just like that. It's because they're not really meant to go that way. Some people are talented enough that they can actually wire wrap their own ear hooks. That's pretty cool to me. I've never tried it, but heating it up might make it a little bit easier. I know when I adjust glasses that I think might break, I tend to heat up the metal just a little bit before trying to adjust them. So there's that. Hooking it right in there. Figure out your back. This is the back because there's one floating. And we are going to, I can't pick anything up right now. Hook that on there. And close it right back up. You don't really need 2 pairs of flat tip pliers like this. I've done it for quite some time. I didn't quite get that level. I've done it for quite some time using another set of pliers. I'll show you real quick. In another video that I did, I used the flat parts of here, right there. And that's another way you can do it. It's just a little bit awkward until you get the hang of it. So that, kind of open it up like that. Hook it in. Hook that in. And right back in place. Just like that. So that's one way you can do it. I definitely like doing it that way on my heavy metal jump rings, the thicker ones. I've actually got one right here. You can see the difference in the jump ring here versus here. This is a good one to use for keychains or something that might have a lot more abuse, pressure, strain put on it, whatever. I'll just pop that on. Turn around. Yeah. Easy gift. Throw one of these on here. I'm just going to sit here and do this for a little bit. I'm a little ticked off right now at my turner. I walked in and found the cup I worked on as I finished up my evening on the counter. And a huge pool of epoxy, so it fell off very soon after I had walked out of here. So I literally spent 10 minutes with a knife trying to cut it off. So mad. Nice and slow. A little bit more. Yeah. Go ahead and do one more. Get them both ready. I don't know that it matters which way you turn. Never really paid attention. I'm pulling this one the other direction. I'm kind of twisted at the neck. Didn't seem to feel any different. I can't imagine why it would though. Loop it in. This is my back. Sometimes you can tell the back also, not just by when the glitter floats up, but by the little, it's like a ridge almost. I'll show you on the next one. You can kind of see it, right? Yep. See how that's kind of lipped up just a little bit? You can kind of feel it too. But mostly my indicator is when I see chunks of glitter floating. This actually doesn't even have any floating up, so that identifier would not have worked on this particular one. I'll grab that. This is basically repetition, so if you're just tuning in, you haven't really missed anything. Just showing step by step how to assemble these earrings that you can make with epoxy. I had a live video the other day of pouring the molds. This is basically the next step to kind of finish it. So I'm going to do some of them with the bronze. It's like a coppery, I guess a more accurate is oil rub bronze look. Some of them like that, and then some of them of the same glitter with the black. That way they're all a little bit of a variety. They won't all be different by any sense of the word, but just change it up a bit. It's just a little something. If they don't like it, they can give it away, or they don't have to wear them. And if you're going to end up doing these to put in like a vendor space or sell, I mean, you could do them all identical and just have inventory ready to sell. That one broke. I think I'm going to do the next set with the double jump rings just to show what that would look like. But I'll use the smaller jump rings on that. Okay. Just kind of grab it, open it up. That's my front. That's my back. Just like that. It's easy to open these barehanded, but I have not really been successful at getting it to line up correctly with my bare hands. Open it up. If anyone has commented, I'm so sorry that I can't see my phone when I'm leaning forward to do this. I'm just able to see it as I kind of lean back. Okay, so for the next set, I'll use one of the bigger jump rings for the hole, and then I'll do another jump ring next without turning these, just so you can see what that looks like. And it makes one more different look. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can. So in this particular instance, I'm going to close this one, just like that. And I'm going to open up just a little bit. It doesn't need very wide because it really only needs to go around the two pieces of metal. So this one, you have to be a little bit more mindful of which way it's going to hang. Otherwise, you could end up putting your hook on backwards. So it's going to go like this, because this is my front and that's my back. It's going to go just like this. So I'm going to imaginary hang it there and do that. And just close it back up. Sometimes they don't close up right like you want them. It's almost like they flatten out back into shape. Pinch it away. If it cooperates. It doesn't always. Yeah, so that's what it looks like if you do a double jumping. Put that on. Close it up. You can kind of see what I mean. I'm not sure if you can or not. Just didn't go back down like it should. Even though I didn't open it up that direction, it's just not going back down like it should. It'll make me lose my mind. Okay. So now we're going to get back to that medium jump ring. Loop that on there. Kind of pretend that this is hanging. Put it on there, just like that. Hold it up against this so you can see it. That's what it looks like compared to twisting it yourself, twisting the shepherd's hook yourself. It adds a little bit of length, but it's not that bad. Just a couple millimeters. The trick, though, I actually need to fix this. The trick is getting that jump ring right there to line back up. If you don't do that right, it's not going to be secure enough. I'm going to go back and fix it. Man, I really don't like how flimsy these feel. These feel a whole lot flimsier than the ones I got from Hobby Lobby. Yep. So putting them on the card, they'll hang down just a teeny bit further than the others, but it won't be that bad. It still presents nicely. It's good. So that's it. I'm just going to sit here and finish doing this. I'm not going to bore you the rest of the way with it, but I just wanted to show how to put some of these together. Just because it's an easy something you can do with your leftover epoxy. Let's say you have a cup that you're working on and you have a little bit of epoxy. This is baby oil from the other night, but like that, 5 milliliters of, pretend it's epoxy. This is not epoxy. Sprinkle some glitter in there, stir it up, and pour it in your molds, because I know that the other day I used 20 milliliters and poured 4 complete pairs of earrings, because it doesn't take very much to fill these in. They're nice and thin. This isn't quite ready to come out, but get the idea. Some of them are much deeper. I'm not a huge fan of these because they're so thick compared to the other ones. They're pretty, but man, I'm struggling with getting them mounted properly because the jump rings just aren't quite big enough. These actually might be. Just for giggles, let's see. I don't have this size of jump rings in any of the other colors. This just happened to come in a 3-pack. It's possible that if they fit, they're going to be the only ones that they only get mounted in black. Hey, they actually fit. Interesting. I'm glad that worked out, because I didn't know what the heck I was going to do with those things, because they were just not quite working for the other jump rings that I had. I bought the pins to be able to do my own jump rings, and I suck at it. I bought the eye pins in each of the colors. I really do. I suck at doing that. So this one's pretty obvious which one's the front, which one's the back. This one was shaped kind of weird, so it's not a perfect circle. Voila. Hot dog. I'm glad I tried that because I was doubtful that I was going to be able to use any of those that I had made. I think that might be the size I need for these guys too. We'll see. So anyways, that's it. This is just stuff from Joann's and Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby has more colors, I feel like, but Joann's has more variety of stuff. So I've got oil rub bronze. I mean, this is more of a brass. Oil rub bronze, black, and more of the traditional gunmetal to choose from. But with these particular colors, I want to go a little bit more simplified. I don't want it too flashy. I know you can get really bright silver and really bright gold as well. So if you have any questions, hi Crystal. Doesn't have to do with earrings. Okay, go ahead and ask. I'm ready. I'm going to move my phone so I can see it better. I'm just waiting on Crystal's answer, or question, I mean, that she had said she had. So, anyways, it's just something simple to do with your leftover epoxy. There's been plenty of times that I mixed up special batches just to do some things. One of the other things you can do with epoxy, I've got one in the works right now. Can you add spray paint to epoxy and then add it to a cup? I don't know if you can add spray paint to epoxy, but I know you can do a little bit of acrylic paint. And then there's also, I actually have one sitting here right now. You can get pigment. This is resin or epoxy pigment. It doesn't take very much, and if you use too much, you'll make it gooey. It won't cure properly, but I know that people use acrylic. But I feel like I just saw something last week that said if you add spray paint to your epoxy, it won't quite turn out right. I don't know if it's a chemical thing. I'm not real sure. But that's a good question because I know there's all kinds of stuff you can add to epoxy. So one of the other things that you can do with your epoxy is coasters. This one I made specifically for this. That took quite a bit. That's a little over 30 milliliters of epoxy, I think. This is the one I have in the works right now. You can see that lump right there. Every time I have some left over that's not quite enough for anything else, I throw a little America glitter in there. It's red, white, and blue. It's really pretty. And I'm just building that up. It's nice and heavy. I made one of these for everyone at the office. The only disadvantage to this smaller size is when you have condensation on your cup, it kind of creates a suction. And so when people pick it up and then it breaks the suction, it falls sometimes on the ground, sometimes on the desk. You can always tell who just picked up their cup. But that's another thing you can do with your leftover epoxy. I have one more really cute thing I can show you too. I have not used glow-in-the-dark acrylic paint on my cups yet. I do have some glow-in-the-dark powder, but I haven't used it yet. I want to, but I'm kind of a little bit scared to mess it up. So I'm going to see if I can find the other cool thing you can do, if it's within arm's reach. Well, no, I don't know where it is. Another cool thing you can do is figurines, like figures. Somewhere around here, I have a Lego man mold. And I fill it with a little bit of glitter. And man, I wish it was handy because it's so cute. Oh, well. Anyways, that's another thing you can do. One other thing I like to do is keychains. Just get you a handful of molds. Just fill it on in. This is one that's kind of in the works. The little llama family. It's been a little bit since I've remembered to add anything to this one. Mostly because I've been doing these guys. Oh, thank you, Sharon. I enjoy doing what I'm doing for sure. This is kind of my little sanctuary. It's my she shed. Hi, Vicky. Long time no see. But anyways, that's just something to do. Never hurts to make a little extra something. This one looks like it's been sprinkled with all kinds of other glitters, but it's a bunch of a ledge. But when I remember, if I have some really runny epoxy, I'll just pour this over and it'll kind of fill in the little gaps right here. I don't want to overfill it because I accidentally filled in the teeth on not too long ago. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the word. I've messed up enough times to kind of figure out maybe how to not do some things, but I still screw up a lot. So anyways, if you have any questions, just drop a comment after this video posts, the live streaming finishes. I'll be glad to go through and answer anything. I can tell you where I got my molds. The earring hardware all came from Michael's and Hobby Lobby. These earring cards are really nice. They're kind of velvety. These came from Joann's. The earring cards at Hobby Lobby, it was 10 of them for $3, and they were, I didn't really care for them myself. Those were 30 for $5, and I used a 40 off. So it's like $3 for 30 of them, so pretty cheap. And then you can drop these down into a clear baggie if you wanted. That's probably like a 2x3. Let's see if I have one of those. Robbie asked if it was hard to pull those out of the mold. It's not. You just have to kind of watch it. Otherwise, you could accidentally end. Hold on, and I'll unmold one. I've actually got one ready. It doesn't have as fine of a detail to it, but it's a good one to pull out. So this is a 2x3 baggie. So if you needed to store them that way, you could. I'm not loving it, but I kind of don't have any other choice. Some people are handy and might can shrink that with like a hot knife or something, but I don't see that in my future. So let me grab this mold down here. So this one doesn't have as much detail, obviously, but it does have this and it has that and that. So my favorite way of doing it is kind of pull it back like that. Just nice and slow. Oh my gosh, Crystal, that is so frustrating when your turners break. My turner arm, I don't know if you caught it earlier, my turner arm came apart in the night after I put about 30 milliliters on a giant skinny cup. And so now I'm having to cut off the epoxy. So Robbie, to answer your question, just kind of gently pull it away. On that skull mold, whenever I get ready to do it, I'll do this. I'll pull it this way and just very slowly let those teeth come out. Because I'm sure that, oh, yeah, don't be scared, but don't overheat them. For the longest time, I used an embossing gun just from the scrapbook section. And then I transitioned to this Mama Jamma. And both are bad for silicone molds. From what I understand, they do shorten the life. I have one that I ruined from using heat right here. So this is what happens if you overheat it. It kind of gets that white, hazy vibe to it. And then this kind of got crackly. I'll try and focus on that. You can kind of see how the silicone kind of got brittle. And then that broke off. You can kind of see it right there where it's coming apart there. I don't use this one anymore. I've replaced it, but I happen to have it handy. One thing that I did learn recently from watching a video that Mr. Nola's did, Rachel did. I don't know them. I just watched her geode tutorial. But using just this, like over that. I don't even have the mold in the video. Yeah, Crystal says you can use silicone spray release on your molds before you use them. I have heard that too. But to pop your bubbles, doing it like that shouldn't hurt them if you don't like burn it. Because silicone's really made to withstand pretty decent heat. So I think I about talked myself out. So hopefully, Robbie, that helps you. And Crystal, thanks for that info on the spray release. Don't be afraid to try your molds, and good luck with your glow-in-the-dark stuff. I'm curious, too. I bought some really cool powder not too long ago, and I know you can add it to your epoxy base or top coat, depending on what you're working on. Some people want the base to glow and the images they put on it to kind of shadow or silhouette. You're welcome, Crystal and Robbie. But some people want the whole thing to glow, and it kind of sort of illuminates your image, but not very much. So, like I said, I haven't worked with that just yet, though. So anyways, that is it. Just working on doing these guys. Glad I could answer some questions on molds. Any other questions after I post this live feed, you can post comments on the actual video, and I'll see them a little easier than I do here. So anyways, that's all we're working on tonight. Hopefully it was helpful. It's really great gifts. You got enough time to make some for Valentine's Day if you need fast teacher gifts or anything like that. You have a good evening too, Sharon. So anyways, so you guys have a good one, and thanks for sticking around and listening to me babble. Have a good one.